G'day crew, welcome back. Todd from Toxic Garage Customs. Glad you could join me again. This is the third video in the column booster brake pedal bracket assembly. That is such a mouthful, really got to do something about that name. The third video, I believe, in fact, I already know, there's 5 videos in this, so watch the third one and then you won't be surprised to know that there'll be a 4th and then there'll be a 5th. And what I can guarantee you is on the 5th one, we have a beautiful pedal assembly finished. So they come out daily. So watch 3, tomorrow watch 4, the next day, you guessed it, 5. And then we're going to move along to something else. So thanks for coming back. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Have a good day or good evening. I've dropped the steering wheel down, or the column down, and this is what I'm talking about. This plate here, this is what I just made. I need to bend it down a bit. And I'll move the column out of the way to do it a bit more. And what I can also see is these here, this is where various wires and so on connect for the steering column. So I'm going to need to clearance out around the side of that opening, that rectangle that I cut out of the middle of the plate. I've got to just create a bit more space there, I can see, to fit that plug in, but that's okay. I've got heaps of metal on that side. I need to make a little, let's put some light on the subject. I need to make a little spacer that goes here and goes across the top there, and it needs to be about 25mm thick. So I'm going to use a piece of tube that is about 50mm, and I'm going to, that upper crescent on there, I'm going to cut that shape out. So there'll just be a thin slither coming across the top, and then a block here and a block there. I'm going to weld it to that, and that will become the spacer. But I'm only going to cut this 25mm wide. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm really happy the way this is coming along. What I need to do is create a bridge that goes between these two furthermost breakaway mounts. So what I've done is I made this. Now it is going to sit like that, and then the top of it will be welded to the plate that you saw me make. And then what we have there is it evens the height of this up with this, so that this breakaway mount will be fixed straight into that. Then this breakaway mount will be fixed into the bottom of this, which will be welded to that. So this will be part of that, the blue will be part of this plate, and a bolt will come up through there into a threaded section there, and a bolt will come up through here, into a plate that I'm going to weld in the bottom of this. Now what that is going to look like is this. So I've just spent 20 minutes of my life that I'm never going to get back again grinding a piece of scrap metal down to the width that I need it. So I'm going to weld a piece of that inside there on either side. It's a terrible angle on either side, but there won't be anything welded through the centre bit. This is again, what is it, 5mm thick, so it's really good, decent stock. This will be welded like that to that plate you saw me make. That thick stock that I was just holding will be filling the space here and here, and that is where the breakaway mount is going to mount into. So I'm going to get that welded up, and then I will bring it here, I'll clamp it all together, and then I'm going to tack it to this, make sure it's all good, and then we can start putting some other welds in place. We're getting there. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love my Uni MiG 185, Viper 185. It is a cracker of a welder. So for 6mm plate, it told me to set this to 23 amps and 12 wire speed. So I've just turned it down a little bit from that because this is about 5mm plate. So I've just got this sitting here. So just to explain, this will be welded in through here, same over here. This piece will be taken out. I'm just doing it in one go, just try and get a flat plane. I've prepped it all up and cleaned it. I've just chamfered the edge here as well, and I've made sure that there's a little bit of a gap between there so that I can get penetration in there, because I'm going to need to weld this, grind this flat so that it sits nicely. So I'll probably open that groove up a little bit further as well, yet again. And then once that's done, I'll just cut the pieces I don't need out and it'll be nice and boxed. And I'll go through and box the ends, but I'll do that. I'll worry about that later. there's a saying, grinder and paint will make you the welder you ain't. And I guess that's pretty true for me generally. But what I've made is this, okay? Doesn't have to be beautiful on this side. I've ground it somewhat flat because it needs to sit up against the breakaway mounts. And that little notch in the top there, that's actually for the steering lock rod that goes through. I don't want it jamming. But as I said, I will probably weld this on and then cut this center section out after I've welded in. But I've left it in one piece so that I can put it on in the correct alignment and everything when it comes to this. So let's see how she looks. Okay, so that piece is going to do that job there. Okay, so it's night time outside. It's been a great day. I feel like I've made a lot of progress today. I'll show you in a moment where we're up to. Just in the last video part there, you'll see that I actually ran out of welding wire. I've got some more, but I figured that was a good time to stop. I've been going flat out all day. I've barely stopped other than for half a cup of tea and 2 cookies, which was nice. We've got a bracket made. I'm really happy with it. The next task on this will be to finesse that a little bit more and start mounting the brake pedal. And I think the brake pedal will come together really quickly because I've got the structure there. What I do need to do is finish the dash end of this so I can mount it to the dash, and I need to put some captured nuts and cut some threads into that thicker plate that I put on there so that the breakaway mount bolts can go in there. And again, I haven't forgotten, I am going to explain to you how breakaway mounts work and how collapsible columns work, because you get it right, it's safe. If you don't get it right, well, they're not going to work. And it's as simple as that. So I'll flip the camera around in just a second. Okay, so this is what we have. This is what I have spent the entire day making. If you remember, this was an old umbrella stand, and in fact, that's the rest of it, just there. And I, off camera, changed the shape of this a little bit, and that's just to clear where the wiring plug goes in to the steering column. And this is that part that I did last, so I've welded that in. I've put some weld along here. I might put another bead along there as well. And then I ran out, after I did this one, I ran out just here. So I like it. I think it's good. So it's going to sit that way. So that goes to the firewall. This is the plate. The brake booster, sorry, the brake pedal will be hanging through and off this part just here. This is where that electrical connection comes, and this part here and just below, just there, is where the breakaway mount bolts go, and this part here is the part that's going to be secured up underneath the dash. It's solid. It is going to do the job really well. It's got powder coat on it or something, so I'm not going to bare metal the whole thing. I don't see any point. It's going to be inside. I am going to paint it. I will epoxy prime it and all that sort of stuff. I'll probably etch prime it. And I'm probably still going to cut this section out of the middle here, because I don't believe that it's needed anymore. And so I've got to put some nuts in here, thread in there, and I'll probably box this in just so that when you're looking under the dash it looks neat. Let's just have another quick final look underneath here. I don't think anything's changed since I was last out here with you, but you've been with me all day. Appreciate you helping me, by the way, today, holding things. It's always hard to do this stuff by yourself, so having an extra set of hands always helps. So yeah, this is our breakaway mount points. That bridge goes across there, the plate comes here, and as we know, the other part's got to mount there. And I think that's where we're going to leave it. So as always, thank you for being with me today on this, coming along for the journey. And as always, if you can, like, share and subscribe if that is something that you would like to do. Oh, where is it? Like, share and subscribe, and remember to smile as well, because that's pretty important. So once again, I'll see you next time. That'll be very soon. I'm hoping to get this knocked over tomorrow. Have a good one.